Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading some crazy dramatic stories I got from Reddit while building my home in my Minecraft world, so let's dive into the stories. Am I the asshole for not defending my wife when my sister called her fat? My sister, 27F, was visiting my wife, 32F, and me, 33M, the other day. An important thing to note about my sister is that she has a child, 5M, with her now ex-boyfriend, 27M. When my sister found out she was pregnant, she told her then boyfriend that she was pregnant. He wanted to marry her in a shotgun wedding of sorts, but my sister said no. The only information she offered up was that there was no way they would be compatible in the long term, and I don't think it's any of my business to probe or question her about it. Soon after, my sister and her boyfriend broke up, but they established a healthy co-parenting relationship, and both now have 50-50 custody with stable, well-paying jobs, and live close by to each other. My wife strongly thinks that my sister should have gotten married, and hates that my sister refers to her ex-boyfriend as her baby daddy. I don't think my sister really cares that she had a child out of wedlock, but every time my wife meets my sister, she brings up the fact that she should try to get her boyfriend back and ask him to propose again, and asks why she does not want to marry him, especially since my sister has been single these past 5 years. It has gotten to the point that she has told me privately that she is fed up with this and has asked me to speak to my wife about this, which I have. The other day, my sister visited my wife and I at our house. We were having a normal conversation, and my sister was talking about her son entering kindergarten and all the ways she was preparing him. The convo seemed pretty mundane until my wife once again brought up that my sister should try to get married at the courthouse with her ex-boyfriend, and that the other parents would view her as immature and would think of her child as illegitimate if she didn't. Before I could even jump in and say anything to diffuse the situation, my sister was raging and said that my wife should worry about her fat self and losing 100 pounds before worrying about her child, and that a ring can't hide her triple chin, and to worry less about her going to the courthouse and more about the gym. My wife has always been on the bigger side, and I absolutely love and adore her, but it is one of her biggest insecurities. She ended up sobbing while my sister grabbed her things and left. This whole argument took around 2 minutes, and I froze up and didn't really know what to do. After my sister left, my wife asked why I didn't say anything to defend her to my sister. I was honest and said I thought that she was wrong for calling my sister immature and her child illegitimate. While I acknowledged it was wrong for my sister to make the comments she did, I don't think they were completely unprovoked. My wife is now giving me the silent treatment. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to follow my friend's parents' house rules and leaving? My 22F boyfriend, 23M, and I have been together since high school, almost 6 years. We just moved in together after I graduated in May. We're not officially engaged yet, but planning to get married once he finishes grad school. An old friend from high school invited us to his family's beach house for the holiday last weekend. When we got there Friday, we realized his mom and dad were spending the weekend too, which was fine. It's their house, and they seemed to have their own plans for the weekend. They were happy to let us do our own thing during the days, and they had drinks in the hot tub with us Friday evening, and were actually really cool. But that night, when my boyfriend and I started getting ready for bed, our friend's mom pulled me aside and said that my boyfriend would need to sleep on the couch in the living room instead of with me in the guest room, because we aren't married. I was surprised because our friend hadn't mentioned this, and my boyfriend and I lived together and everything. I said okay, but felt really uncomfortable. I have trouble sleeping in new places, and sleeping next to my boyfriend helps. My boyfriend also was annoyed he had to sleep on an uncomfortable couch when there's a perfectly good bed. So we decided it would be best to get a hotel in town and meet up with our friend the next morning. When we told our friend, he was kind of weird about it, but said okay. So we left and checked into our hotel. The next morning we called to see what time our friend wanted to meet up. He seemed mad and he couldn't hang out, and that his mom and dad flipped out at him for letting us go to a hotel and said we didn't appreciate their hospitality. So we ended up just doing our own thing for the weekend and not seeing our friend at all. Our friend texted us today, Monday, saying he was really angry that we couldn't have slept apart for 2 nights just to make his parents happy, and that we won't be invited to Friendsgiving this year. He hosts for our high school friend group every year. So are we the asshole for leaving and getting our own place? Ha ha ha. They are allowed to have rules in their home, and you're free to stay elsewhere. Am I the asshole for getting an extra order of fries for my girlfriend? I feel like I'm going absolutely crazy for this being an argument, and I need someone objective to tell me if I fucked up. My girlfriend is a French fry bandit. She always takes half of my French fries without fail. When we go out and I get a burger with fries, I already know half are going to her. My issue is that French fries are one of my favorite foods because I have the palate of a child. I always get myself a side of fries, and I always ask my girlfriend if she wants fries as well. It's always a no, but once they show up, half go to her. So recently we were out for dinner and I wanted steak frites. She wanted a salad. I was hungry and admittedly had a bad day and was grouchy, and I asked her if she also wanted fries with her salad. She said no, so when the server came, I ordered for us, and I ordered my steak frites and a salad for her and an extra side of fries. She said that she didn't want fries. I said that I wanted extra fries, so we pushed on. When the server dropped off the food, I immediately pushed the extra fries to her. She was upset. She said she didn't want them. Then I said I'd have them. As we got in the car, she told me that I was being a dick, and ordering fries for her when she said she didn't want them was incredibly condescending of me to assume I know what she wants. The kicker is, she ate the extra fries. She wanted the extra fries. I ate my fries and she ate pretty much the entire side, even though I was planning on eating them. She's been with me for a year. Of course, I know she's going to eat the fries. She does it every time. She's been pissed about it since, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills on why I'm the asshole here. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she wanted me to prove I didn't have anything with her fiancé? I, 26F, have always been close with my older sister, 29F. She's getting married in about a month to her fiancé who she has been with for 4 years now. But before they met, I worked at the same company as him for almost 2 years, and we were friendly co-workers. We normally grabbed lunch with other colleagues and occasionally texted about work. Nothing romantic ever happened between us. Fast forward a year, he and my sister meet through mutual friends. When she found out we already knew each other, she laughed it off and even joked that I should tell her if he had any embarrassing stories from work. Well, everything was fine until a few weeks ago when she called me crying, saying she'd found old messages between him and me from years ago. One message where he told me, "I missed you today," and me also telling him I wished you came to work today. The reason for those messages were due to the fact that we usually help each other with tasks at work and cover for each other. Besides that, we only talked about work, shared memes, work gossip, and one other conversation where he thanked me for helping him prepare for a presentation, which is something we usually do. She asked me if I had ever had feelings for him. I said no, because I genuinely didn't and never saw him that way. Then she asked if I'd be willing to let her read through my old phone backups and social media messages to see the context for those messages for her peace of mind. I laughed because I thought she was joking, or better still, let her go through his phone, not mine, and I started getting annoyed when she kept insisting I allow her go through my phone. She said if I had nothing to hide, I shouldn't have a problem proving it, and her friends suggested the same thing, and that if we did this one thing, it would help avoid future drama before the wedding. I refused immediately, not because there's anything to find, but because I think it's an insane invasion of privacy. Apparently that made me look guilty in a way, but I just wanted her to go through his phone instead, and not mine. She still asks, why won't I clear my name and give it a rest? This even pissed me off the more cause she's focusing on the wrong person and what name do I need to clear. She told my mom about the whole thing, and her response was that I'm being too prideful over little issues. The final straw was when my sister said she didn't feel comfortable having me at the wedding unless I handed over my phone first, so we sorted out once and for all. But why can't she ask her fiancé? Her response was, I don't want him to think that I don't trust him. So I told her I wouldn't be attending at all and that she could have the wedding she wanted without me there. Let her go through his phone and not mine. Am I the asshole? You're not the asshole, and frankly, I think she either has caught him cheating with someone else before, or she is not emotionally mature enough to be married. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my ex-wife stay at my house while I'm on vacation with my new girlfriend? I, 44M, got divorced recently after a pretty rough marriage. I've been trying to move forward, establish some healthy boundaries, and build a new life. I've also started seeing someone, and we're taking a long weekend trip together. A close couple friend of mine was supposed to come with us. The wife is still very good friends with my ex-wife. The issue started because we both have dogs. Their preferred solution was for my ex-wife to stay at my house while I was away and watch my dogs. She would also watch their dog. The thing is, I've done this before. My ex-wife has stayed at my house while I was out of town. Every time it seemed to create some kind of issue afterwards. Comments about things in my house, comments about how I'm living, questions about stuff that frankly isn't her business anymore. Nothing huge, but enough where I realized I don't really want to keep doing it. So this time I said no. I didn't just leave them hanging either. We have a babysitter slash pet sitter that we've used for years. She's responsible, knows the dogs, and was willing to help both of us. I thought it was a pretty reasonable solution. My friend's wife wasn't comfortable with that. She only wanted my ex-wife. At that point, they decided not to go on the trip. Now they're upset with me. My buddy basically told me that if the roles were reversed, he'd do whatever it took to make the trip work. He said I was being selfish and that the whole thing was bullshit. Part of their argument is that a few weeks ago, we were all together on Father's Day and my ex-wife and I were joking around and being friendly. Fair enough. I had a few drinks and was probably more playful than I should have been, but being friendly for a few hours at a family event is very different than wanting my ex-wife staying in my house while I'm away with my new girlfriend. Also, just because I allowed something before doesn't mean I have to be comfortable with it forever. Sometimes you do something a few times and then realize, yeah, this actually isn't healthy for me. For additional context, my friends know exactly what happened in my marriage and how difficult the divorce was. That's part of why I'm so surprised by the reaction. What bothers me most is that I actually tried to solve the problem. It wasn't my way or the highway. I found another option. They just didn't like the option. I also can't help but wonder if some of this has less to do with the dog and more to do with the fact that my friend's wife is still close friends with my ex-wife and maybe feels conflicted about going on a couples trip with me and my new girlfriend. I don't know if that's true, but it has crossed my mind. So, am I the asshole for holding the boundary and refusing to let my ex-wife stay at my house, even though it resulted in my friends canceling the trip and now being angry with me? Update. Wow. Did not expect this to blow up. I posted this during the USA game, watched the game, and crashed right after. So I'm just now catching up on comments. I think I addressed most questions with my edit below. A few things I probably should have explained better. The couple lives directly next door to me. The original plan wasn't for my ex-wife to stay at their house. The plan was for her to stay overnight at my house, watch my dogs, and then walk next door to take care of their dog. Their dog is very old, very small, and deaf, so I do understand why they were worried about having someone unfamiliar watch him. I don't think that's unreasonable. That said, the person I suggested wasn't a random stranger. She's a babysitter slash pet sitter we've used and someone we trust. She knows our dogs and was willing to help with both houses. My ex-wife also lives about 5 minutes away, so there were other possible arrangements besides her staying overnight in my home. She could have checked in multiple times a day, or they could have worked something out directly with her. Another wrinkle is that my ex-wife is currently watching her mother's dog, and that dog has snapped at my neighbor's dog before. So the situation wasn't quite as simple as just have my ex-wife watch the dog. One thing I also didn't mention is that my ex-wife and I have children together. This isn't just a house to me, it's also my kids' home. Part of moving forward after the divorce has been creating healthier boundaries around what is still shared and what isn't. For those saying I'm being inconsistent because I've allowed my ex-wife to stay at my house before, that's actually part of the reason I said no this time. After doing it previously, I realized it wasn't healthy for me. It blurred boundaries that I'm trying to establish as I move forward. Just because I was okay with something before doesn't mean I have to keep being okay with it forever. I wasn't trying to stop them from going. In fact, I spent time trying to find another solution because I genuinely wanted them there. I just wasn't willing to make the solution be my ex-wife staying overnight in my house. Am I the asshole for causing a scene on the first family vacation I've been invited on? I, 23F, live alone in Texas. I moved out during high school due to a strained relationship with my mom, 49F. Since 2021, my mom, sister, 17F, and brother, 8M, have gone on multiple vacations a year without me, claiming they couldn't afford to include me. This summer was supposed to be different. We planned a family trip to California, and after a very tough year, I was really looking forward to it. We stayed with my aunt's mother-in-law. On day 2, we planned a road trip to Palm Springs. I sat in the front seat because my family knows I get severe motion sickness and light sensitivity in the back. My sister demanded the front seat, and when I politely refused, my mom ordered me to the back. When I didn't move, my mom got out of the car and threw a tantrum, yelling at me in the street. When we finally started driving, my mom screamed at me for 45 minutes straight. At my breaking point, I asked to be let out at a gas station to cry. After a few minutes, I walked outside and realized my mom had driven off and left me. She texted me repeatedly saying she wasn't coming back. She finally returned nearly 3 hours later, only to demand gas money. Heartbroken, I called a local friend who picked me up, and I stayed with her for the next 4 days. During that time, my aunt called me, furious that I caused a scene at her mother-in-law's house. I explained that I stayed in the car to avoid a scene and told her my mom abandoned me, but she didn't care. She had already believed my mom's skewed version of events. We still had a Disney day trip planned. Wanting to salvage the vacation, I sucked it up and joined them. The day went smoothly, and we returned to the mother-in-law's house. Exhausted, I took a nap. 2 hours later, my sister woke me up by packing her bags. She said she was going to our cousin's house. I got excited to go, only to find out I wasn't invited. As I watched her pack, I saw her put my swimsuit into her bag. I asked for it back, but she refused and walked away. I followed her, asking again for my property. I wasn't yelling. Suddenly, my aunt stormed in and snapped, "You cannot yell in this house. This is the second time you've caused a problem, and your sister is leaving because she doesn't feel comfortable around you." I was blindsided. We hadn't even been arguing. My aunt kept ranting about how I made everyone tense and told me I needed to pack up and find somewhere else to stay. It is now 1 a.m. and I can't stop crying. I was so excited to connect with my family, but I feel completely unwanted. I don't understand why they invited me just to treat me like an outcast. Am I the asshole? Well, you moved out to get away from all of this drama. When people repeatedly show you who they are, you need to believe them. Go back to Texas, live a happy life without them, and keep your boundaries strong. If this were me, I would go no contact and be done with it. Am I the asshole for taking my backpack back after a coworker used it, leaving their belongings on a chair and not telling them? I need your opinion about something that happened at work. I had a backpack hanging in that cramped closet/workspace in my department corridor for a school year, August/September. It was just hanging there. Many times I wanted to take it back home, but I simply forgot. It was used for storage, but sometimes coworkers would work there. The cleaning staff had put some of their cleaning things in as well. Other coworkers had their things in that place as well. At the beginning of May, a different room was cleared out for renovations, so they put a lot of stuff in that closet. When that happened, I finally thought about taking the backpack with me. The backpack is gone. I put out a call in the group chat because I thought someone on my team might have taken it. No response. Today I went into that same closet/workspace to put something there. What do I see there? My backpack with all sorts of stuff belonging to someone else. I left a unique keychain inside so that I could identify it. It was still there. So I took those items out, left them together in a neat pile in the same place as the backpack, and took the backpack home. It belongs to me, so why not? At this point, I had no clue who the items that were in the backpack belonged to. Nothing had a name or any indication that could point me to the owner of the items. Later on, a colleague sends a message in our group chat asking who knew about it. It turns out that one of the cleaners had taken the backpack into use. The fact that it hung in that spot for a long time isn't really a reason for me to appropriate the thing without asking around. Then I get a message. "Hello, OP. I would like to let you know that I did not find the way you acted today to be polite at all. I found that backpack on the coat rack where it had been hanging for a very long time. As far as I could see, no one was using it. I didn't take it because I wanted to keep it for myself. My own backpack had broken, so I used this one temporarily. Moreover, I simply took it to school every day where everyone could see it. If it had been my intention to steal it, I certainly wouldn't have taken it openly every day. If the backpack was yours and you wanted it back, you could have just come to me to say so. I would have given it back to you immediately, without any discussion. Instead, you took the backpack without saying anything to me and left my things on the chair. I found that disrespectful, and it really disappointed me. To be honest, I expected a different approach from you, especially since you are a teacher. A teacher, of all people, should set a good example when it comes to respect and communication. I wish you a nice day." Now I understand that she's upset. Like I said, I didn't know who the items belonged to, and I was in a hurry, as I had to take my child to an appointment. I also never saw her come inside with that backpack. Am I the asshole to take my backpack without trying to find the owner of the items that were inside my backpack? ETA, some recurring things. I use this bag on visits. Due to circumstances, I haven't been able to use it. A year means a school year. In this case, August/September. I know it is long to leave a bag, but I hung it there with the intent on using it for the visits I usually make. I wanted it back at the beginning of May as the one I had home broke. It's now July. Yes, I could have borrowed one, and I did, but I had to give the one I borrowed back. This space is a workspace, where this colleague eventually put cleaning supplies in as well. For the time being, it is used as storage. I would have preferred to have a conversation with the person in question. I know that it's not a nice move to just leave things like that. Since I didn't know who the owner of the contents was, I wasn't sure if the backpack would return after the weekend. I am going to talk to the co-worker in question as a one-on-one conversation has my preference. Everyone sucks here. She was wrong to take something that wasn't hers. On the other hand, you left the backpack hanging unused for over a year. You couldn't have done without it for one more day. Left a note that says, "Hi, sorry I forgot to grab this, but I'll need to grab it tomorrow. Can you move your stuff so I can pick it up?" Am I the asshole for crocheting at the bar, ordering drinks during US versus Belgium World Cup game? I go to this bar to crochet 2 to 3 times per week and usually get 2 to 3 beers depending on how long I am there. I am enough of a regular there that they start pouring my beer when I walk in, and it is in front of me soon after I pick a seat and sit down. I also tip accordingly. It is a sports bars, and I know that. I can't muster up energy for sports ball. They have never cared. Usually when I am there early in the day, sports aren't playing, but it is the World Cup, and sports ball seems to be on all day. No issue on my end. Well, today I get to the bar around 3:30 p.m. Pacific to drink and crochet. We are in California. I keep drinking and crocheting through the game. Then someone gets pissed off at me because I am not cheering when the US scores. Then they go off on me for taking up a bar seat in front of the TV when I'm not watching, something I have done many times before. I tell him to F off. Bartender gives me a look. I shake my head to brush it off. He gives me more attitude. Bartender gives me another look. I nod this time. Dude gets kicked out. Not the end of it. Apparently his friends are pissed off he gets kicked out instead of me. Bartender tells them I'm a regular not causing any issues, so welcome to stay over them. They shut up and we all continue through the evening. They seem to mostly be pissed off at the fact that I am sitting at the bar in front of one of the 4 TVs, not actually watching the game. Am I the asshole for patronizing a bar I go to regularly and not watching the World Cup game? I will be there once the World Cup is over and they won't. Edit. One of the bar partners, that wasn't even there today, texted me tonight to let me know dude has been banned for rest of World Cup. Doubt that he cares. I will be back tomorrow and Saturday on my other usual days of the week. I will also clarify that there are 4 TVs in the area I was in and 6 in the larger back bar area. There was no shortage of viewing space of TVs. Bar has my side, so I will take that as is. There's nothing like a good bartender. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling our 18-year-old daughter she can't go on a trip to Miami with her boyfriend's family? My daughter is 18 and starts her dream college in a couple of months. For the past 2 years, she has spent almost all of her free time at her boyfriend's house. We've asked her to spend more time with our family, but nothing has changed. Recently, she asked at the last minute to sleep over at a friend's house. We said no, because it was so last minute. She turned off her location anyway. The next night, she stayed at her boyfriend's house. At 2 a.m., she called us for a ride home, and when we arrived, his parents had just gotten home from the airport and had no idea she had been staying there. The next day, we told her we wanted to have a serious conversation about trust and respect before she went back to her boyfriend's house. While we were in the middle of talking, her boyfriend came to our door asking her to dinner. We said no because we were still having the conversation. She left with him anyway. The following day, his parents texted us asking if she could go to Miami with them for their son's tennis tournament. We later learned they had already bought her plane ticket before asking us. This isn't the first time. They previously wanted to take her on a 2-day trip, and when we said no because she had a dental appointment, a college orientation Zoom, and a graduation party, they told us it would really help their son emotionally because he's having a hard time with her getting into her dream college. Before this, there was a chance they would attend the same school. At this point, we don't want her to go to Miami. We feel like trust has been broken, our boundaries have been ignored by both our daughter and her boyfriend's family, and buying a plane ticket before getting our approval crossed a line. We know she's legally an adult, but she still lives at home, doesn't pay rent, has access to a car and phone, and we're getting ready to foot the bill for college, and we're trying to maintain some family boundaries before she leaves. Am I the asshole for saying she shouldn't go? You're the asshole. You're not trying to maintain some family boundaries. You're trying to maintain control. Am I the asshole for refusing to change my name? I, 33F, recently left my husband, and one of the things we're fighting about now is my last name. For some background, I have a PhD in computer science and work in academia. I've published papers, presented at conferences, reviewed research, and built a professional reputation that's tied to my legal name. When we got married, I did not want to change my last name. I wanted to keep my maiden name because all of my degrees and early publications were under it, and I knew changing names would make things more complicated professionally. My husband insisted it was a deal breaker. He said he couldn't marry someone who wouldn't take his name. I remember specifically explaining that my career would be tied to whatever name I used, and I still remember his response because it bothered me even then. He laughed and said something along the lines of, "That's good. Then you won't be able to just leave me over stupid shit like dreaming I did something wrong." For context, I've been the primary earner throughout our marriage. My husband has mostly been unemployed. He's done things like Uber on and off, using a car I bought, but I've paid the mortgage, bills, insurance, and pretty much everything else. I've now left him for reasons like that. The issue is that he now wants me to change my last name back immediately. Ironically, I'm refusing for exactly the reason I gave him years ago. Since getting married, I've published even more papers, supervised graduate students, received grants, and become known professionally under my married name. Changing it now would create confusion with citations, collaborators, students, and my professional identity. Plenty of academics keep the same name after divorce for exactly this reason. He's furious. He says I'm stealing his family name and damaging the reputation of his family by continuing to use it without staying in it. His family does have a history locally. Several older relatives were major landowners and business owners decades ago, so the surname is somewhat recognizable where we live. But my husband himself isn't a public figure, and neither are his parents or siblings, and they have mostly lost the wealth now due to gambling and bad decisions. I pointed out that he was the one who insisted I take the name despite knowing it would become attached to my career. He says that's different because we were married then, and now I'm using his family's name without belonging to the family anymore. Lol, no, not the asshole. Though a bit of an asshole to yourself for marrying this dude in the first place. So guys, this is all the stories I got for you guys for today, and thanks for staying till the end. Bye.